Welcome to Invited Back. My name is Sabbath Kapahu, and we are in a deep dive series based on the sessions at Stimulate Summit. We're going to talk today about the session called Hope is a Rebellion with Tiffa Garza. What a joy it was for me to reconnect with Tiffa. We've actually been journeying together since before both of us were married. I remember having conversations with her just after her wedding night about the expectations versus the realities. And I talked with her through season after season of what it's been like as a wife and as a mom and as a performer, as a pastor. And it was so fun to hear the ways that she has grown, the things that have challenged her, and some really hard situations that she has found herself in, even recently. She shared with us about what it's like to walk through grief in your marriage, what it is like to have these issues that you've been holding on to, that you've been tallying down, but you haven't actually said anything about them to your spouse. We expect them to read our minds, but there is an immense amount of freedom that will happen when we realize our husbands are not mind readers. He does not know what we're thinking, and he only knows what we say. But how many times can you say something but mean something else? I am super guilty of this. There is so much solidarity in the space of saying something but really meaning something else. But shouldn't he know we've been married for 10 years? Doesn't he know what I'm thinking? And she reminded us with so much grace and so much passion that our husbands are not mind readers. In fact, we're thinking about making a shirt of that. Let me know if you would be interested in one of those. I want to read a quote to you. This is what it says. The reason that marriage is so painful yet wonderful is because it is a reflection of the gospel, which is painful and wonderful at once. The gospel is this: we are more sinful and flawed in ourselves than we ever dared to believe. Yet at the very same time, we are more loved and accepted in Jesus Christ than we ever dared to hope. This is the only kind of relationship that will really transform us. That is from The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller and his wife. We are sinful and flawed, yet loved more than we ever could have hoped to be. And that's the essence of what Tiffa talked about in our session together, Hope is a Rebellion. The reality of the hope that we are seeking is not because everything is going to be easy all of the time. In fact, we talked about how difficult marriage really is. There are so many expectations. There are so many conversations. There are so many ways that we have to learn to live with someone else, the ways that we have to learn to deal with our own unforgiveness and hurt, ways that we have to deal with communicating our needs and our wants and what's happening in a way that is not exploding. Again, so much solidarity if you are the kind of person who holds everything in and then explodes. But we have an opportunity every day to grow in our ability to communicate, to love, to find hope in the hard situations. And that's really what Tiffa talked about. She has seen so many hard marriages, including the one of her mom and her dad. And the thing that got them through was the spaces of humility that they had to walk through. The humiliation of laying everything out to the people that loved them, to the community that supported them. She talked about this sisterhood that her mom could confide in, that she could turn to, and this brotherhood that surrounded her dad at his lowest times. And really, that is what kept them together, the community. Being able to have the conversations that needed to be had without shame and with healing and hope in mind. Fast forward to the next generation, and her husband are married, actually 16 years now they've been married, raising 3 beautiful, amazing kids, and they're walking through a series of challenges on their own. They're learning how to communicate to each other. They're learning their own conflict styles. They walked through a really heavy, hard season of grief, and she shared with us the grace that was given for her to be able to take time completely away to just be present with those in her family who were grieving, and the way that her husband had to rise up in that situation. And he really took over in the spaces that needed to happen, and getting the kids to school and all the things that were happening at home. He gave her permission to grieve. And also they went to a grief retreat, and she talked about how powerful it was for them. She, no need, I don't need to go, and was thinking that. And she went, and it changed everything. It changed their marriage. It changed her heart. It changed their ability to walk through grief. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, her encouragement to us, my encouragement to you was go to that retreat. Give yourself space to heal, permission to grieve, and do it in a space of community where people are there to walk alongside you. If you need some resources, or if you need help finding one, DM us, reach out to us, and we will walk with you to the space that you can have the conversations that you need to have. So what a blessing it was to hear from Tiffa, and the reality that hope is a rebellion because we choose it. Hope is a rebellion because we're choosing to say, I will be humiliated for the sake of healing. I will choose to have the hard conversations. I will choose to say yes over and over again, no matter what, because I'm committed to this. It's not hope because everything's always easy, but it's hope because, like Tim Keller said in that quote, we are sinful and flawed in ourselves, but at the very same time, we are more loved and accepted in Jesus Christ than we ever dared hope. May you find that hope in the coming days. May you have permission to reimagine what conversations will look like when you surrender them to the people that love you. May you have the hope to reinvent the spaces that are hard into spaces of healing. And may you invite others into the journey and be reminded that you are not alone.